Hi everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to learn the most important design pattern in Java, which is the factory design pattern. Okay, so before jumping into the solution, let's understand first the actual problem. What the problem we are trying to solve using factory design pattern. Alright, imagine you're building a food ordering application. You start with just one object, that is pizza. Then later your client asks for burger. Then sandwich. So slowly the number of objects keep increasing, right? Now because of all these different objects, your application start facing multiple problems. The code becomes hard to maintain and it is not scalable anymore. And every new change increases the chances of bugs as well. Now let's say inside your code you're directly creating the pizza object. Okay, we are taking an example of order service. So what we are trying to do, we are creating the object directly itself only. At first this code looks completely fine, but the real problem starts when the application keeps growing on, right? Because too many objects gets created, right? So let's jump into the another problem we could face. This is my piece of code, again the same code whatever we wrote. So to create different objects, suppose first we are creating new pizza, next new burger, new sandwich, new different types of food, right? What we are trying to do, we are just nesting the if else condition. Too many if else, right? So because of the too many if else, the logic will be complex, and because the logic is complex, your chances of bug will be higher. Your code will be more error prone, right? And maintaining it becomes a very nightmare. So how do the developers, the senior engineers, solve this problem in the production level, right? So instead of creating the objects everywhere in the application, we move the object creation logic into one dedicated place, and that place is called factory. The factory receives the request and creates the object automatically. Suppose the factory receives pizza object, it will pizza. The input is sandwich, the sandwich object. The input is burger, the burger object gets created, right? So now let's jump into the UML diagram. What we need to do, we need to create a common interface called food, and the interface contains called a method called prepare. Okay, and the idea is very simple. Every food item should know how to prepare itself. So now the burger implements the food interface, the sandwich also do the same, and the pizza also does the same, right? So all the food items follow one common structure, but each one can have its own preparation logic, because you can see the prepare method is different. We have implemented the prepare method, right? So now this is the most important part. This is my factory class. So what does it do? The class contains a method called create product. When the client requests for pizza, the factory returns pizza object. When the client requests for burger, it returns a burger object, right? So the client no longer creates object directly. So now look into the client. The client simply asks the factory for the required product. It doesn't care how the object is created internally. This makes the application more cleaner, more flexible, and easier to extend in the future. Let's understand how it is easier to extend in the future. Suppose in future we try to add salad. What it will do? We will create a salad object here, right? And we will implement the prepare method over here. Okay, and we will keep that salad creation logic inside this factory class. When the client will give the input as a salad, so the factory class will give the salad object, right? So hoping you understand what exactly the problem we are trying to solve using this factory design pattern. Now let's jump into the definition of factory design pattern. So the definition says the factory method is a creational design pattern that defines an interface for creating an object, but allows subclasses or implementation to decide which object should be created, right? What it is saying, that subclasses like the pizza, burger and all, they will do the implementation and they have the right to decide, right? And which exact object should be created. So understood the theory part of factory design pattern, right? So now let's look into the real Java code, how it looks like. So as I told, we have a food interface, right? So in the food interface, I have a prepare method, and this prepare method is implemented in a burger, in a pizza, and sandwich. I have three different food type, and they implemented food itself, right? So and they know how to prepare themselves, right? That is the idea of this whole, right? So now it comes the most important part, that is food factory. So what I'm trying to do over here, in the switch case I have given, so in case the user selects 1 or 2 or the 3, on the basis of that I am creating that particular object. Suppose user selects something else which is not mentioned in this particular case, so what we will give, will give invalid choice. Okay, and how this is coming, this is my main class, this is my scanner to get the input from the user, and here I am just trying to provide a food menu kind of things, 1 for pizza, burger and sandwich, 4 for egg just. Okay, so now I am asking for user to enter his choice. Now the user enters his choice. If the user has a 4 option, so what I am trying to do, I am just breaking this one and going into the first one itself, because I have put on a while loop over here. Okay, then what I am trying to do, the food factory gets the input of the choice. Suppose I have given a choice as a 1, here as a comes as a 1, so 1 will come, then food dot prepare, then suppose 1 I have given, this one, this food type is pizza, right? So this method gets invoked and pizza will get created. Okay, now let's run the project and see how it happens. Okay, so now you could see this is my food menu kind of things, right? So first I have given input as a 1. I'm trying to create pizza object. Okay, now you can see preparing for pizza. Now again the end menu comes, right? So what I'll try to do, I'll give 3. That means I'm trying to create sandwich. Now preparing sandwich, right? Suppose I'll give something else, invalid choice. So that is the code part of the factory design pattern. So now you have seen the real Java code, how the factory pattern is getting implemented, right? So you might be thinking, okay, this works for pizza and burger, but where the factory pattern actually used in real application? The answer is almost everywhere in enterprise Java application. For example, Spring Boot beans as well. When you use @bean add services, you never create object manually. Spring internally uses factory mechanism to create and manage those objects for you. Similarly for Self4j as well. When we write the logger factory.getLogger, what is happening? A factory class creates and returns the appropriate logger object. So this is the real uses of the factory design pattern. So factory pattern is not just a interview concept, or it's not just a theory things. Okay, it is heavily used in real production system to build scalable and loosely coupled application. So that is all for today's video. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.